done with it. I was done with it back in 2002.
Bring on
done
some,
with it as
bring on
soon as I heard it.
bring on 5150 is something that's a little bit less shit.
Let's Femi.
It's time for Red Salad Review with your hosts, Wayne Moon, Greg Donald, and Lou Banks.
Hello. Welcome to Red Cell Review. Hello, Al.
Good evening.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Hello, Stan.
Good evening, fellas.
Good evening. Hello, Lou.
How do you do?
I do good. Hello, Manny.
Hello.
And hello, Greg.
Hi, Wayne. Long time no see.
Yeah. It's been about a week. This show, we're going to be talking about Van Halen once again, but now we get into the Van Hagar Van Halen. And this is going to be
You
rough.
sound so disappointed when you just said that. The Van Hagar. The Van Hagar.
I refuse to call it Van Hagar. It's Van Halen.
It is Van
Exactly.
It is disappointing. I mean, there's no way to say it any other way. However, the whole thing that inspired this, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the first six. It's one of my favorite bands all time. I could talk about it anytime. But what inspired me to bring this up in the first place was getting the Japanese press of 5150 and finally hearing it like Eddie intended. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I get it now.
I am shocked you'd even consider buying that, Greg, considering that you think Sammy Hagar is the answer to your question. So,
I said I heard it. I bought it to resell. I'm not going to buy that thing and put it in my record rack. It's going to gay up the rest of my stuff, warp the vinyl. It can't live here.
Well, I did buy it on Greg's recommendation, and I'll wait for my review on that when it's my turn.
All right.
okay.
Guess what? It's your turn.
It's
5150.
your
Go
turn. Go
You want
ahead, Lou.
Really, I'm
go
going
for it,
first?
Lou.
Yeah, why not? Let's
Yeah,
just go. Let's
Lou.
do it. Go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, let me preface. If anyone out there can find a bootleg copy of the Wildlife soundtrack, including Eddie's score for the film, I recommend buying it because Eddie does some cool stuff on there. Where it's mostly just him with a drum machine doing guitars, bass, keys, and stuff like that, all instrumental. And finally glad that the Wildlife got released on Blu-ray. Thank you, Kino Lorber, whatever. Fuck you. So, okay. Rewind to 1986. I was already a Van Halen fan and a David Lee Roth fan, having caught the videos for Just a Gigolo and California Gills on U68 ad nauseum, on repeat, every hour. Life was good. And then I heard 5150. And I was like, hey, this is the VOA I can't drive 55 guy. I don't like it. It was a hard sell at first, but the one song from the album that stuck out to me as a kid that I actually enjoyed was the song Dreams. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the keyboards. I don't know if it's Alex's drums. I don't know if it's Eddie's solo, but I like that song. And that's a great song to use whenever you're using a montage about events from the past or about a graduation or anything like that. In fact,
a gay parade. Anyway, continue.
or the scene from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers where they jump skydive out of the airplane. I was gonna say that.
Well, that was actually oh man, people that keep on running.
Oh, that was Higher Ground by the
Yeah.
Chili Peppers.
Yeah, Higher Ground by the Chili Peppers. Dreams is at the end where all the fireworks and shit are going off, and I just watched it 3 days ago, but that's beside the point. After they kick Ivan Ooze's ass, they celebrate on a boat with fireworks and dreams.
All right, so
it works. I was 12 when that came out. I had the soundtrack. I thought it was good. I didn't realize it was Van Halen really at the time, but
It's a great montage song. Um, but I really didn't care for the album that much. Going into my teens, you know, I really liked Balance at the time because I thought it was the darkest Van Halen album since Diver Down, since Fair Warning. But I thought I'd give 5150 another listen. So really quick track by track. Good enough. The only thing I could say about the song that I enjoyed was its placement in the Spaceballs movie. The scene right before the alien pops out of John Hurt's stomach for the second time in his life.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, the diner scene.
Yeah.
Correct.
What
What did he have? He had the special. I'll get the soup. Why can't this be love? All right, guys. This has one of the worst lyrics I ever heard in my life, and I'll explain why.
Three lock box is enough to explain why.
Hold on. The second verse of the the line was, only time will tell if we stand the test of time. That's about as like profound as future events will affect us in the future from Plan 9 from Outer Space. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You know, I mean, for God's sakes, Quiet Riot's lyrics for Let's Get Crazy. I want to kiss the lips. I want to kiss your lips, not the ones on your face, are more profound than this.
Hey, wait a minute. That's the romantic song from Kevin Dubrow. So
Fine, and I'll top it off with another one.
Yeah.
Kisses burn, bitch, burn. I want to put my log in your fireplace. There.
again,
Okay?
another love song.
I mean,
Manny, you're not helping me.
yeah. Well, I mean, this isn't DLR. This is the DDR, which stands for Dog Dick Red Rock.
Get Up. It took the Japanese pressing for me to enjoy it because Eddie's guitar is way in the forefront. If you listen to the American pressing, it sounds flat. But
he also has some really complex. But he's got some really complex stuff going on during that song.
Yeah.
He
So
does.
On Greg's recommendation, I did buy a copy of the Japanese pressing on eBay, and it, to me, the production quality of it is as good as the first six. So I will give it that. Dreams I like. Summer Nights.
If Dave sang it, it would be amazing.
Yeah, pretty much. Best of Both Worlds. I wasn't impressed.
Can I say something about that real quick?
Go ahead.
The whole time I'm listening to that song,
You're thinking he's talking about
well, no. It's because that one and Good Enough very much sound more like Sammy Hagar solo tunes. Like I can tell on this album, the tunes he had more influence on, but the rhythm to that and the way he's singing it, as I'm listening to it, I keep thinking, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's like, Jesus, dude, how much do you need to repeat yourself throughout your career?
I didn't even think of that, but that's a good point.
It sounds like
it. And I wish I hadn't because I hate that song. But anyway, continue.
Love Walks In. Yeah, it's a syrupy love ballad, but apparently it was written about aliens, which Sammy says have visited him. And my question
I remember my first time being full of shit.
And my question is, why haven't the aliens taken him by now? Anyway,
Lou, he lives in California. Mexicans are always going through there.
Wrong aliens.
Oh,
and you as a Latino male, I didn't know you'd go there, sir.
Well, I'm not Mexican, so continue.
Mexican Americans don't like to
Are
get
you a
up
Mexican
early,
or a Mexican?
but they have to, so they do it real slow. Mexican Americans, they love their ninas and their no-nos. Nina, Nina, no, no,
What
no.
are you singing?
Right, this isn't Mexican radio.
Americans by
Let's
Cheech
go.
and Chong.
Oh
And then Manny's supposed to say, I got something a little similar. You know, it's the same but different, but a little more rock and roll, man. Beaner's gonna.
We got a copyright strike, ladies and gentlemen.
Probably. It doesn't take much.
This episode's going to get us
Tommy and
kicked off
Cheech are
YouTube.
cool.
This
Yeah.
episode's gonna get us kicked off YouTube, and my wife's gonna kick me out for wearing high heel sneakers and acting like a queen. Anyways, I'm sorry. Moving
Well, it's
right along.
okay though, man, because Mexican Americans they like flowers and music and white girls named Debbie too.
Well,
I can't believe
that's not just Mexican Latinos. I do
I
like
can't believe
white girls named Debbie and Sue.
Don't forget,
Jill.
man. Don't forget, Manny's a freaking Rican. So
Yeah, I'm a Puerto Rican.
I just can't believe a conversation about 5150 led to Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, who'd ever thought that Rat Style Review would finally?
talking about this shitty album. Go ahead.
Who'd ever thought? See, I thought you liked 5150.
I do, but Greg's reminded me how terrible the lyrics are. So
All right. Well, moving right along. Love Walks In. I already mentioned that. Again, like the song, but I don't understand how what's his face wrote it about alien visitations at night. The title track is my favorite song on the album for one reason only. Eddie's riff on that and his solo is amazing. Probably one of my favorite riffs that he's ever written. Inside, ugh.
Inside is one of those tracks where they try to pretend like it's still the original era and they just don't have that chemistry and it comes off terrible.
No, it sounds completely not inauthentic, disingenuous.
Yes, disingenuous.
It sounds very disingenuous.
How I feel about it.
Like I was thinking about it today. I'm like, when Dave did the spoken words, like, hey, we're a little bit hot tonight or whatever, it worked.
You know what it reminds me of? When the cops would drop off a narc in the neighborhood and he'd come up to us and try to be fine. Hey, what's going on, dudes? Like, whatever, narc, get the fuck out of here.
Do you
Maybe we should
remember
change his name to Sammy Narc.
Do you remember in Airheads how they determined that the cop was a narc?
Oh yeah. Whose side in the Van Halen war did you take? David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar? Sammy Hagar. He's a cop.
A cop.
Perfect example.
Wait, I thought he was testing him on who was God.
No, that was the second
That was
question.
another part of the film, Stan.
Oh, okay.
No, it was the second question that they asked him. Who'd win in a fight in a wrestling match, Lemmy or God?
Trick question.
All right, that was it. Yeah, that was it.
So, do I hate 5150? Well, I think you actually do have 1, 2, 3 decent songs on here. So I'll say I like a third of the album. And I remember telling Stan this. If you take the songs off the Sammy Hagar era Van Halen albums that I do like, you'd have one good album. So those are the 3 from this album I would take.
Wow, I thought you would like it more than that, Lou.
It's kind of hard for me because like there are moments where again when he does the spoken word thing, I'm just like, dude, that doesn't work for you. Can you imagine Bruce Dickinson doing spoken word over an Iron Maiden song? Oh, let's see what this Hollet's gonna do tonight. All right, like, come on, no, that's not gonna work. You can't force something if it's not you.
Yeah, that's funny. I was going to mention that too because I'm sitting there listening to these and I'm like, man, they're just really, because I didn't think about it really too much because I'm not such a huge Van Halen fan, and I kind of started with the Van Hagar era first, but now doing the show and hearing the David Lee Roth stuff and hearing all his ad libs and things like that, and then hearing Sammy Hagar try to do them, I'm like, why did they even like have him do that? It's like
I can sum it up in one thing. When Dave scatted, regardless of how you feel about it, it fit the song and it was fun.
Yeah.
Sammy Hagar goes do 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 do.
Yeah, he adds all these stupid sounds and every song is like, oh yeah, and hey baby. How many times can you say baby? Like,
dude, I swear to God, this guy says woo and all right
all the time.
At least twice in every single song.
Yeah. And
a lot of my girlfriends say ooh and ah every time they're over. Anyway,
I don't remember if it was it this album or the next album where he says something about somebody in a restaurant, a waitress or somebody.
I think
No, it's
that's
this
the
one.
next one.
It's good
Next
enough.
out.
No, it's this one.
Is it? Oh yeah, it isn't
good
good
enough.
enough. That's right. Yeah.
Good
And
enough.
it's
Yeah.
just so stupid.
Hey, waitress, you got
Rack
any
of what?
specials or whatever?
Yeah, a rack of what? Like what?
A rack of
It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
A
It's
rack
not even
of what?
funny.
Dave could have come up with something better, not
What?
even trying.
What could it have, a rack of ribs? What else would it have been that he would have been so shocked?
A rack. Yes.
Yeah,
God,
that's
even
a,
at 13, I had better sexual innuendos. I didn't go up there, girl. Wow, look at those rack of what?
Well, I mean, to be fair, the girls waiting outside of his bus were probably, you had to roll them in flour to find the wet spot, and that doesn't make very attractive lyrics. So, rack of ribs is a little bit better.
So let's count the people we've insulted today: Mexicans, women.
that was you. That was you.
I'm just saying, dude.
Oh, I'm
No.
just getting started. I'm your ice cream man. Stop me when I'm passing by, baby. Oh my
That's
my.
different. That's cool.
Well, that's all. Yeah, that's cool. That's over with now.
Oh, I did fail to mention though. Yeah, during Why Can't This Be Love? The da 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 da. It's like, oh, shut up, dude. Really?
I will tell you the one thing I hate more than anything else, where I can forgive most of it and enjoy 5150. This egotistical piece of shit loves to sing over top of the harmony vocals. Like, what the fuck? That is such a signature of Van Halen. I don't need him repeating it in his over top of it. Just shut up, dude. Dave never did that.
No, not at all.
Dave understood the elements that came together that made everything great.
Right. Yep.
He did. Like a rack of what? Anyway.
But I used to like this album. I still kind of do. I like at least 5 songs over here.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. If we were rating it, on the Starfield, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I mean, a lot of it is hack work, but it's a pleasant piece of hack work.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Eddie still had most of the control here, and Eddie's overarching idea. Now, granted, I don't agree with people where they're like, "Oh, it's such this amazing statement and such a step," but he's just carrying on what he started on 1984. And there's tunes like "Summer Nights." Hang on, I gotta look at my notes here. "Get Up," and 5150 that I feel like all started off as Dave songs originally during that era. And you can really hear how it branched out from there. It's more when you can tell the newer tunes where they were all collaborating together. Now that the schmuck had shown up, that kind of fall off a little bit. But I mean, while I might not personally like it where I'm going to run, actually, I remember the first time I ever heard Why Can't This Be Love? We were in music theory class, and I was super excited because, oh, yeah, we're going to listen to Van Halen tomorrow because it's a perfect sample of whatever. I had never heard 5150. When Why Can't This Be Love came on, I was horrified. I refused to believe it was Van Halen at first. I thought he was fucking with me. But with that said, though, it's a great radio song.
It is.
It really is. There's not a whole lot bad I can say about it. Some of this does get mired down a little bit by pandering to more sheepish things, but in almost every song on here, you get some good guitar work with Eddie, or like he has done with the synth since Fair Warning, he will play riffs on that synth like he does a guitar. And you manage to get some pretty cool stuff out of it. Love Walks In is tripe. That one I can't get behind. I mean, it's pleasant, but it's instantly forgettable. But Why Can't This Be Love isn't a terrible song,
Yeah.
Greg, time will, this album, only time has told it that it will last the test of time. And you obviously,
Well, and that's the big thing about the Japanese press of it. That one features the original mix because Mo Austin got behind this album huge, but he didn't like how Eddie went with it. They wanted the vocals more out in front and things not as loud, basically. So they took it and remixed it, and there was really nothing he could do about it. Well, the Japanese have exclusive rights with most of these record companies where they're going to put out what they think sounds the best. So they put out the original master. And Hagar is more utilized as, I use the term background instrument a lot, not because he's totally pushed back. Don't get me wrong. The album is less compressed and it's louder, but he's lower in the mix, so it gives you more focus on the tapestries that Eddie's weaving with his guitar and with his synthesizers. And that is what really makes it so interesting to me personally. But if you love Eddie Van Halen, regardless of the whole Sammy Dave thing, because honestly, Van Halen is about Eddie. I love DLR. I don't like Sammy, but that shouldn't matter at all here. If you love Eddie, you need to hear this album at least once. Because what he was doing here is very important. And while I wouldn't call it a step forward because he had already reached that plateau on 84, he was kind of refining what he started with Jump Here and even on the Wildlife soundtrack. And that's what I think makes this legitimately good. It just didn't always come together on every song, but still, 3 out of 5 isn't bad. I mean, that's slightly above average, I would say.
I pretty much agree with you. Even though this was my turn and you just took it over, but
sorry,
we'll fight about that later. But yeah, I like Why Can't This Be Love? I'm just gonna go through this real quick. Dream, Summer Nights, I think is okay. Best of Both Worlds, I actually do like. Love Walks
really?
In, I do like it. Yeah, I like that song.
Huh.
5150, that's probably my favorite on the album. And I don't mind Inside. It's weird. It's kind of not, the great, but it's different, and I like it for being different.
You always surprise me the most because you're a musician, and some of the things you'll say that you like are generally the clunkiest tunes on albums. I just it fascinates me, and I'm not trying to call you a musical pygmy. I just find
No,
it
that's my
interesting.
line, Greg.
I just find I don't know, I try to find the good and the bad. So,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there is.
But the album's pretty decent. It's not terrible. The worst is yet to come though. Al, go ahead.
All right, so I already told the story how I got into Van Halen because my older brother had the Dave era cassettes. Uh he had Van Halen, the first one, uh Fair Warning, Diver Down. I ended up buying Van Halen 2, Women and Children First, and well, 1984 when that came out, he bought it, so he had the cassette. So I kind of filled in again. So I was a huge Van Halen fan by then, and I remember begging my brother to take me to the 1984 tour, but it was so huge, and they were like just the biggest band at the time that he couldn't procure any tickets, like he didn't get any. So as a 12-year-old kid, I was hugely disappointed because that could have been my first concert, and so I
You should
was.
have sought out Damone.
Yeah, I should have sought out Damone, man. He had the front row tickets for $20, man. You know. Did I say 20? No. Did I say 10? No, 20. um anyway, no. So I was let down, but so I was huge, 1984 was like, I mean, they were at their zenith, and I remember I remember being in the summer of '85. I remember being in Portugal on summer vacation, and I remember my brother. Every once in a while, my brother would call his girlfriend, who was now his wife. But I remember one phone call he made to her. She told him the news that Sammy Hagar had joined Van Halen, and that we were just kind of like, wow, that's kind of interesting. I wonder what that's going to sound like. So, so fast forward, then summer '86, New Jersey, we would go down to New Jersey Shore all the time, and on the boardwalk they would have these games where you could spin a wheel for put a quarter on something, and they spin a wheel, and if it lands, you can win an album or a cassette, whatever the format at the time. So I remember my brother playing, and he won, and he picked the 5150 had just come out, so he picked that cassette, and he won it. So on the way home, I remember first listening to it, and I mean, I liked it. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I thought I hated it. It was different, but I don't know. It was catchy, and at that time I was 14 years old, so I was an impressionable kid, man. So I was just like, yeah, I dig it. It became kind of a summer album, It was like associated because when we would go down to Jersey Shore, like a lot of the games on the boardwalk, like the roller coaster, they had like these PA systems. They would play rock over it, and you would hear like, "Why can't this be love?" all the time, man. That was like the radio hit of that summer, you know. So anyway, so that's like, so then my brother ended up getting tickets they came to New Jersey. They played 4 shows at the Meadowlands. And I remember it was August 1st, 1986. So my brother ended up getting tickets. So it was me, him, and his still girlfriend at the time, and a couple of my cousins. We went, and I remember this one distinct memory of the concert. There was a guy sitting in front of me, and he had a DLR era Van Halen shirt. I think it was the picture that comes in the Diver Down cover where it's the four of them like just standing together. And I remember distinctly he had a circle with a line going through it through Dave's face. And I was like, whoa, well, I guess, you're kind of pissed at Dave,
Wow.
Yeah, dude, that's one distinct memory. I remember he drew a circle with a line going through Dave's face, you know. Um, I enjoyed the concert. I went there because I never seen Eddie before. Eddie was my hero. It was just to see him was a dream come true for me. Again, in hindsight, as I'm older, I wish it could have been the 1984 tour. It was my first time, but I was still excited as a kid, man. I think that was my second concert I ever went to because the first one was Kiss in '85. So, actually, I saw Kiss twice before I saw Van Halen. So that was my third concert. So, I remember one of the highlight. Oh, well, actually, who opened up was BTO with and Leslie West was playing with them. So I thought that was kind of cool. So really, that was a good opener. I thought they kicked ass. So going back to Van Halen, I remember. I was the disappointing thing I remember about the concert was, as a kid and growing up with the Dave era albums, I didn't hear a lot of. They didn't do hardly any Dave era stuff. They only did like, I think you really got me. Ain't talking about love, Panama. I think it might have been those three. I don't even think they did Jump at that show I was at. I don't remember it. I don't
I
remember.
can't imagine him having enough charisma to pull off Ain't Talking About Love. That's
Yeah, but
very interesting.
they did it, and but I mean they were throwing in like some. Obviously, they were throwing in some Hagar solo stuff, and but one of the songs I really liked that they threw in was "Make It Last" by Montrose from the first album. They threw that in there, man. I was like, whoa, that's cool to hear that, because I think they were alternating that with like Rock Candy like throughout that tour, because I've heard bootlegs and stuff, and but the main the I remember the one thing that made the crowd erupt is when towards the end when they did Rock and Roll by Zeppelin. When they went into that, I mean the crowd just went fucking ape shit, because I mean at that time Zeppelin was still like everybody was loved Zeppelin and shit like that. So overall, I mean as a kid the concert experience was great, but I mean I didn't know any. I never saw like a DLR era Van Halen concert, so I had nothing to gauge it by. Back then there was no. I didn't get any bootlegs yet. I didn't know any. I didn't. The only video evidence of like Dave era, was maybe those 3 videos from Fair Warning, um, and maybe the Panama video where it's not live, but it shows them in a live setting.
Sure.
So it shows how cool, like great and charismatic, Dave was. So I kind of can judge it. You know what I mean? So, but I thoroughly, I still enjoyed the concert. So anyway, going to the album. Uh, and I think so. The album, you know, not a lot of people. Again, I cannot stress this enough, man. When Ted Templeman, when they went to Ted Templeman left with Dave, I mean, that's a lot of the sound went with them, man. I
Oh,
mean,
actually, just an interesting thing, real quick, not to interrupt you for
no,
too
it's all
much,
right.
so don't lose your thought. But Landy and Eddie could not get a hold on how to sequence this. Ted Templeman actually told them what order to put the tracks in
Oh, on this album, I didn't know
because
that.
they asked him. Yeah, they couldn't get a handle on it, so
Oh,
they
okay.
they begged Ted, please help us out with the track sequencing, and he came up with the track listing for them.
Interesting. I never heard that tidbit before. That thanks for that.
Yep.
Again, the sound, okay, like Greg said before, the sound on this album was already it was starting to shift already from with 1984 with the building of the 5150 studio and all that. I mean, that sound was already starting on where Eddie was going on 1984. And believe it or not, there's electronic drums on 1984 too, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just more prominent. It just sounds more kind of prominent in this because if you look at the that bootleg from Donington in 1984. I mean, Alex has an electronic drum kit on there too. He has electronics mixed in with the acoustic shit. He had drums all over the fucking place, man. His drum sets were insane. But um, so to me, the production on this album kind of dates it a bit. I still have to get that Japanese pressing though. So you guys got me in very intrigued with this Japanese pressing of the album. I'm very interested in. I actually want to seek it out and buy a CD of it, the actual CD. So you could probably get it on Amazon, right, Greg, or something.
It's all over
Amazon, eBay. It's
I mean,
5150
eBay.
is one of those albums that's always been a decent seller, so it's still in print around the
Yeah,
world.
Yeah.
gotcha. All right. Again, but going back to the whole Ted Templeman thing, when Ted went with Dave, I think a lot of that classic Van Halen sound went with them. Obviously, Dave is the classic Van Halen singer, but Ted Templeman doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion. I think, you know, I can't stress enough that, again, like the sound, he was the fifth member of Van Halen, in my opinion. That's why, to me, Eight Man Smile sounds more like classic Van Halen than 5150 does, you know, because
It does.
Ted Templeman produced that one. The thing I regret too is that summer of '86. I didn't get to. I didn't go to the Dave. I didn't go to the Eat 'em and Smile tour, and I wish I did. You know, I missed out on that one. So
Did you see Maiden that year?
no, I didn't. I didn't.
Okay, well, I was about to say, oh, it's forgiven, but never mind. You didn't go see Somewhere in Time.
I wish,
I
man.
saw that they
See at that time I wasn't driving yet, so I was at the mercy of what my brother was going to, or you know, if I had an older friend that was, I didn't start driving until 1988, the tail end of that. So once I started driving, that's when I really took off, started going to my own shows or whatever. So, but I was at the, unless I begged my brother to take me to something, I went to what he went to, and that's not to say I saw a lot of great concerts with him. I mean, I saw Robert Plant, I saw, a bunch of great stuff. I saw Journey with Steve Perry, so I can't complain. So anyway, I still haven't forgiven him about the 1984 thing, though. I keep bugging him about that. I keep busting his chops. But overall, I mean, I still like the album. I mean, I like half of the album probably. Some of it sounds dated, but Greg is right. To me, good enough, and Summer Nights. They sounded like something that they could have worked on with Dave. I would have been interested to hear what Dave would have. It would have been a very different song with different lyrics and different melody, so melodic. The melodic sense that Dave would have brought would have made them completely different songs with the same like kind of riffage, but even arranged, it probably would have been a little different, with if Ted Templeman had been on board as well. 5150, love that song. I love Eddie's guitar work in that. Um, that was a highlight when I saw them live too. That kind of extended solo that Eddie did on that. And Inside to me is filler. I don't know why they included that song in there. There's a bootleg. There's a unreleased song called "I Want Some Action." I don't know if you guys ever heard that one on YouTube from the 5150 sessions. That song would have been great if that was included instead of Inside. I think it would have made the album much better. it's still unfinished on there, but you get the sense of like the song. It's unfinished in the sense that, well, I don't know how much better lyrically Sammy would have came up with something because he's just kind of scatting and whatever. But musically, I think the song rocks. And actually, I think Eddie gave that music to Steve Lukather because that song ended up being on called "Twist the Knife" on one of Steve Lukather's solo albums. I don't remember which album it was. The name of the album might actually be "Twist the Knife" as well, but.
I can't remember the name of the record, but I think
But
it either came out in '89 or '90. But yeah,
Yeah,
he did give
yeah.
it to
So
Steve.
yeah, it became a song called "Twist the Knife" on Steve Lukather's album. But if you look up "I Want Some Action" on YouTube, there's the demo of that on there, and I think that would have been much more suited better for the album than Inside. So that's
I
my
would
take.
rather hear Poison's "I Want Action" than
Yeah, well,
Inside.
I don't know about all that, bro. Anyway,
Inside is terrible, but yeah. Anyway,
I still like the album though. I mean, I have fond memories of the summer of '86. Um, so production wise, it's a bit dated. It doesn't stand up obviously to the six pack, So, as far as the Hagar era albums go, it's a good one in there, So, it's still Eddie. I always loved Eddie. I followed them even though Dave wasn't there anymore. I know there's hardcore people that like once Dave was out, they were out on Van Halen, and I wasn't one of them. I still bought the albums and stuff. So. I just, nowadays I just hate what Hagar fucking says and talks and when in the press and all that. Like, it just kind of soured me on him as a human being. But I never really hated the guy in Van Halen. But to me, it just was a different band. It wasn't Van Halen anymore. They would have been kind of suited to change the name, but when you have two brothers in there with the same last name Van Halen, and you just came off your biggest fucking selling album, I think it's hard pressed that the record company or anybody's going to want to change the name. So they
and
just went with it.
and I still think honestly that this has enough in common with the earlier. I mean, okay, you got a guy that can't really
What
like write
1984? Not the
lyrics,
first
or
four. I
no,
don't
no,
think it
I'm
has
talking
anything.
about '84. I just
Oh,
mean this one out of all of them, I would say deserves to carry the Van Halen moniker. I mean, granted, you got a guy that middle of the road, never
yeah,
smiling, doesn't know how to make a joke, doesn't know how to write good lyrics, or even really burst out in any exciting way. But the important part here is Eddie's music. It just builds on that, and it's I'll say part two almost. I mean, granted, you get a little bit different because they were writing with a new guy, but it's funny you mentioned what you did, Al, because other than being horrified when I first heard "Why Can't This Be Love," not so much because it was Sammy, but because that shit was really different from anything I had ever heard from Van Halen, obviously. But when I first heard that he replaced Dave, and granted, this was in the '90s, years later on, I was more like, huh? The guy from Montrose?
yeah.
But yeah, he's proved himself to be a garbage human being since. And that's why I can't stand him, really. But
I'm done, man. Whatever. Whoever wants to go next.
Just
I'd
want to
like
say
to hear
hello.
Stan's opinion.
I just want to.
Stan,
No, he's not here. I just want to say hi to Catman because he's been chatting it up in the chat by himself here. So I haven't
What
said
up?
anything to him. So hello, Catman. Go ahead,
speaking
Stan.
of Catman, I wore my Venom Legions
Oh, and you
shirt for
disappeared.
him.
Disappeared again.
Excuse me. Yeah, that Venom shirt's
Well,
cool, dude. I saw it
yeah.
before. I think it's better when you're just sitting back, bro. You're disappearing right now.
Disappear.
Well, let's see here.
Every
Let's
time you
try
go to show
that.
it, you disappear.
Those damn background things.
Well,
God.
whatever.
And
Eddie's
now
cool.
he's trying to show off his arms.
No, I'm not making fun of the background. It's just when you have one of those backgrounds, with you in front of it, it makes you disappear when you're like certain fucking angles and shit. Anyway, who's next?
Go ahead. Stan.
Oh, and I think I just realized how he might have written a song about aliens. I bet you he really liked being probed. And that's probably why the aliens now say, we've learned the limits of what we can from anal probing. That guy liked it way too much.
Go ahead. I think he's done. Stan, go ahead.
Go ahead, Stan.
Okay. All right.
Stan the
I'm gonna
man.
I'm gonna make it really quick. So I think this might be my favorite album with Hagar. Um, a big reason is I think that it has like some remnants of the Roth era in terms of like the energy, and I like Good Enough. I think it's a really energetic song. I actually like Why Can't This Be Love. I'll tell you another thing. I like that part when he does the doo 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 the shit that you guys fucking hate. I actually think it's cool. I don't know. He was just getting into the song, so Get
Yeah,
Up was
go
pretty
hang out
cool.
with a soccer mom. I bet they like it too.
All right, whatever. Get Up. I really like Alex's drumming on this one. It's a very chaotic song. It's pretty cool. And of course, I mean, Dreams. Man, I love Dreams. Probably like in my top 10 favorite Van Halen songs of all time. I mean,
Wow.
it's really that good. I mean, like everything just I don't know, man. It's one of those like perfect songs. It's got like catchy melodies, a great chorus, and everything, and and of course the vocals. I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm gonna get to the vocals in a second, but yeah, Summer Nights is really cool. I mean, again, it just sounds like Summer Nights, Good Enough. Like to me, like like these sound like they could have been, and even maybe Best of Both Worlds. They sound like they could have been Roth songs.
Ooh, I gotta disagree on Best of Both Worlds, but I thought Get Up could be
Maybe
theirs too.
5150 as well, but
50-50s.
love, Summer Nights, yeah, that's really cool. Love Walks In, I'm not really, it's okay. 5150, good song too. Inside, maybe a little bit of filler. But I was listening to the Japanese pressing, and what's stuck out to me the most is like it sounds like the band is playing live in the room with me. Like
Uh,
it's got this crazy sound to it. Like I'm like as if fucking Eddie Van Halen was just like 10 feet away from here. It's crazy.
many Japanese albums are like that. If you're ever interested, I'm not saying spend a ton of money trying to buy all of them, but
Yeah.
they're really good with that with the mastering. I mean, which is the what? Dude,
Well,
when you can
I
make Dawkins sound loud and in your face because almost all of their albums sound muted, like you're doing something seriously right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's actually it makes me enjoy the album even more. Yeah, so
glad to hear that.
I really
it
like
made
that
me
kind of
love it.
yeah. I really like that energy that very upfront. It's like I'm just watching a show. I want to just mention that fucking Hagar's vocals are fucking crazy though, because like this dude is on a 10 constantly. These songs are fucking hard to sing. I don't give a shit what you guys think about him as a singer or whatever, or as a lyricist, but these songs are tough to fucking sing just because of how high they are.
I agree. I
I
agree. I'll
mean,
get to
like
it when I talk
you
about it,
need
but
some
yeah.
crazy fucking stamina just to like keep up with this shit. Like I don't know how he did it like night after night because they weren't doing any of the raw stuff or barely any of
Because he
it. They're just
can.
like covering
By
his stuff
his choice.
by his choice. Yeah.
Little pussy.
uh, but but it's crazy how he managed to just like handle it, like do this shit like night after night on tour when they were like at the peak of their success. It's just these are not easy songs to sing. So
I figure he had to have some kind of vocal coach because, I mean, even on this album, his voice cracks constantly.
he's really pushing himself. Like he's really working really hard.
Well, didn't they bring in Mick Jones to produce his vocals?
Yeah, they brought the
Yep.
Mick Jones. I don't know what he did on the album, Al, but he's credited as the producer on there.
Yeah, but I think I read somewhere that they brought him in kind of produce Sammy's vocals, like to kind of work with him, and
It's
then
kind of what Eddie
And then
wanted.
I guess Eddie and Don Landy are the more musical side of the production. So
It,
Eddie
it
kind of wanted a foreigner sound slash vibe to some of this, and that's how Mick Jones came about
and
specifically.
and that's the direction they ended up going in, as time went on with Sammy. So
Yeah, I mean, whatever they did, I mean, like the guy sounds fantastic in my opinion. Um, Dreams is one of those songs that's really fucking hard to sing. It's like that chorus, like
even he can't sing it like it is anymore.
No, I think
Oh,
they tuned
he's
down the
also
flat now on the bass drum.
78 years old too,
yeah,
though.
yeah. I mean, come on, like the guy's a senior citizen. That's like elderly abuse at this point.
Yeah, I
To have
mean,
this
But
guy
he wasn't a
sing.
senior citizen then.
he's only 2 years older than me, so he's up there.
So it's
Manny,
got
that's a lovely weave you're wearing, by the way.
Hey,
so. I mean, for me, the main takeaways, I guess, like I love the Japanese pressing. I appreciate the album more after hearing that. So thanks to Greg and Lou for the hookup.
You got it,
And
buddy.
I
I think you sent it to me. I think you sent it
I
to me
sent
too,
it to
right?
all of you to give you guys
Yeah, I didn't get the
a fresh
chance to.
perspective. It's still
I,
there.
yeah, I'll have to pull that up. But I do want to get a hard copy of it though.
yeah.
You could buy like $30 on eBay, and it comes straight from Japan. So
oh, that's
So
cool.
so that so the Japanese pressing the that live sound that I love and also some of that like I said the raw energy is still kind of present in some of these songs, and of course Hager's like performance is a standout for me. So that's all I got.
Interesting.
All
Yeah.
right, cool.
Go ahead,
All right,
man.
my turn. I'm going to be quick because it's already 9:30, and I'm a senior citizen. So,
Mhm.
5150. I actually like 5150. I'm going to agree with Stan and disagree with Greg. I think Sammy Hagar's vocals are fantastic on here.
Bunch of
I,
daft pansies.
yeah, he was. I don't care what you say. He sang very. I
Admit
mean,
he is the weak link of the whole band, and I'll leave you alone.
I'm not even going to go there. I think it's. I don't compare
Because you
it.
know it's true, motherfucker. Carry on.
No, because I don't compare. I don't think this Van Halen. I consider it a whole new band. It's almost like
It is.
Black Sabbath when Ronnie James Dio joined. The difference is Black Sabbath still had elements of Black Sabbath because of Tony Iommi, because he is Black Sabbath. But the way Ronnie James Dio sang, the way Ronnie James Dio wrote lyrics, and I'm
And
not
he
comparing.
could sing and write lyrics.
Well, I'm not. I'm just saying it's different, you know. And I think it's a whole different band than Van Halen with David Lee Roth. Matter of fact, I saw the Sammy Hagar, David Lee Roth tour that they did that I guess ended in disaster, not financially, but because those two men didn't like each other. It literally felt because all David Lee Roth did was Van Halen era songs, and one he did Yankee Rose, and he opened the show with that, and he was excellent. And Hagar did his thing, and Hagar seemed like the Jimmy Buffett of the hard rock world. And I'm not a Jimmy Buffett fan, but when you watch not only their performance style but musically, the two versions of Van Halen back to back like that, it is amazing. You just watch and go. It's hard to believe these two guys ever sang with the same band, with the same group of musicians. But I mean, my criticism is the usual stuff. His lyrics are terrible. I mean, good enough. He is trying too hard to be David Lee Roth. I mean, these stupid ass lyrics. U.S. Prime, grade A stamp, guaranteed.
I try to block that out of my mind, Manny. Thanks.
I like that.
I remember
That part.
I remember when we interviewed Jesse Fink about Bon Scott and his main criticism on Brian is Johnson's lyrics. But at least Brian Johnson wasn't being serious, giving a dog a bone. He was trying to write Bon Scott lyrics without being Bon Scott. I think with this album and a couple incidents, Summer Nights, which I do like because it's got that catchy chorus, but that very beginning, about the fishing poles, and that's stupid. It really is. 5150, I agree. Musically, it's very frantic in a good way. I like that a lot. Love Walks, and I actually like that song. I do like it. I don't mind a good ballad. That's a good ballad. I overall I think the musicianship on this album is great. I think Hagar's vocals. I don't know why he is singing at the top of his range just about every single song. I don't know if
I
that was a
Because he can't sing well and he has to go that high to match the energy.
no. I
Well,
think he
isn't
could
it true
sing.
that
Just
Don
because you don't
Landy
like
pushed
his
him to do
music
that?
doesn't.
Yeah,
I
Don
have no
Landy did
idea.
push him
He
to
followed
Don
David Lee
Landy
Roth. He's
did
got to
push him
try
to.
to match David Lee what David Lee Roth did.
Landy pushed
Yeah,
him to
but
do it to
maybe
more
Eddie
match
Van
the
Halen.
energy of it, and he's a very mid-range guy overall. And
Right.
I
Yeah,
know
you're right,
I
Greg.
get what
You're
him
right.
and Eddie wanted him to do, but that's I mean, I don't like him as a vocalist anyway, but they pushed him a little too hard on here where it makes it a little bit worse than it could have been, honestly.
Well, if you listen to Sammy Hagar's solo albums, because right before he joined Van
Don't.
Halen, it was a perfect time in a way because Hagar just scored, I think, 2 or 3 platinum albums in a row. Matter of fact, when he came to Tampa for the Voice VOA tour, it sold out immediately, which is amazing.
No, it's not because it's Florida.
No,
Guy would have been a
Florida
musical.
barely sells out any concerts. Truthfully,
Guy would be a absolute musical
forget
footnote
it.
if
Okay,
he
I'm
hadn't
done.
been in Van Halen. Seriously, you cannot tell me that any of those solo
I
albums
agree
are
with
worth
that.
a shit as
He
far
would
as
he would have been he would have been known
music
as the
history goes.
he would have been known as the I Can't Drive 55 guy and kind of
I
faded.
agree. He wouldn't be as a matter of fact. The solo albums, most of them are out of print. The only song you hear on the radio is "I Can't Drive 55." Every blue moon, you might hear heavy metal, barely. At least
You
in
can still hear
Florida.
"There's Only One Way to Rock" sometimes.
Not over here, you don't.
I thought it was
okay.
called "There's Only One Way to Suck."
Oh, I mean,
Ralph's not here, man.
I mean, again, I'll give him the credit.
He should have been here, though.
The first Montrose album was great, and I love the HSAS album, the one that he did with
That was a good album too.
That
That's
was
a great
Carrie
album. I
Arrington,
actually
and
like
Michael
that
Shreve.
album a lot.
But
I like that album a lot.
To me,
I think
Montrose and that album are the best things he ever did, man.
I think it's funny though that and I don't know why, but the
He
one
only had
vocalist
one
that I hear him get
platinum
compared.
album.
What about Stanley Hampton? That's probably isn't that platinum by now?
I won't even listen to that album on the
VOA
grounds
is
of the name
only
alone.
one that VOA is the only one that went platinum. The rest of Standing Hampton and Three Lock Box went gold.
Yeah, but that
All
probably
right.
took a while
It's
to
a half
go
a mil.
gold.
Oh, well, by today it's platinum. I see what
No,
you're
I'm not
saying.
talking about today, Greg. I'm talking about when they originally came out.
When they originally came out, the only one that made it in the year of release that looks like is VOA, although Standing Hampton surprisingly came pretty close, but I'll be honest, and this isn't just like cutting on him because I don't like it, but I heard that and I still think that's one of the worst modern or rock records I've ever heard.
Which album?
Standing
Which one?
Hampton.
Yeah, it's very dated. I haven't listened to it in a while, but
It's super generic, and I think that's what I hated most that he brought to Van Halen. And I don't so much mean his vocals, even though they are. I mean his songwriting and how he approaches it, and we're coming up to that. But
I just think it's funny that like the one vocalist that I hear him get compared to, and this was around, circles that I'm in,
which is,
and I only think it's because they both come from the same area as Dave Meniketti of Y&T. But
Dave Meniketti's a more bluesy singer, though, don't you?
Yeah, think? and like to me, I hear more soul in his voice, and I feel more passion in his lyrics and music.
Meniketti's got more range too, and he could sing a little bit higher. That's a weird comparison.
I always thought Meniketti is more of a blues guy, and he's, by the way, a hell of a guitar player.
Oh,
Yeah,
amazing. I mean,
but
Ozzy wanted him at one point.
yeah, but listen to like Midnight in Tokyo, for example. He can hit them highs when he wants to.
Yeah, but he's not a
I
showy
think
off
"Summertime
singer.
Girls" was like the most Hagar-ish sounding that
Yeah,
Mannequin.
I like that better than every Hagar song that ever came
Summertime
out.
Girls definitely sucks as bad as I'll Find Love Again. I'll give
Because
you
when
that
I
one.
remember, because I remember hearing that when I was young, when that song first came out, I actually thought that was Sammy Hagar. I thought that was a Sammy Hagar song for the longest time. I didn't know
That's
who
probably
I
where
didn't
the
know who
comparison
I
comes
didn't know who
from.
YNT was or anything like that, but I heard that on the
So they're
radio.
Hagar is the San Francisco guy too, right,
Yeah,
guys? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Bay
Okay.
Area. Yeah,
Wait, Montrose was too,
yeah, Bay Area, right? I
because I
think they,
know
I
Montrose
think they
before.
were.
I
I think
think
Because
they
I know
were.
because I know Montrose, Ronnie Montrose worked with Edgar Winter and Van Morrison before he formed Montrose. Um,
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
yeah,
he
take a
did.
look. I know
Yeah,
Oh
he did.
I know
wow.
my I
Yeah,
know my rock history.
yeah.
Trust me on
No,
that.
I
Ronnie
believe you.
worked
I
with
was
him.
just
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's a cool tidbit of info.
Yeah.
yeah. But here's a question for Greg. Greg, when were you already a Van Halen fan before Hagar came in, right?
No, Hagar
Is
was
he
in the
still there?
band by the time I became a fan,
Oh,
but
okay.
I hadn't heard
Did
any of
you
that crap.
like any Hagar's? Did you like any of Hagar's solo stuff before? Just you, as you know, even as a kid, or no?
No. Well, I like the song Heavy
No,
Metal
okay.
that was in the movie,
I admit
but
I like that one too.
that's really it. And that's what I mean about him being a footnote. There's a lot of bands you get in any genre that are just music for sheep that prey on that. And that's pretty much what his whole career was on his own. I really don't feel he did anything special or even really worth owning outside of that one tune. And then what he did in Montrose and Van Halen, he's just not a very interesting artist on his own.
I I'm a Sammy Hagar fan of his solo material. It's hard for me to disagree with because if I know you'll never buy any of his album, which is fine, but I actually after Left Van Halen, this is going to sound strange. His albums actually got better production wise and musically. Honestly, I'm not saying Greg you're going to like him. Matter of fact, I guarantee you won't like him. But if you listen to
Masakila.
the, yeah, well, that's terrible. But production wise, it sounds better than any of the other stuff he put out. But if you listen to his albums prior, his first one's called Nine to the
Thank you.
10 scale. 9 to the 10 scale,
I
where
think that
I'm,
one is the worst out of
well,
all
what
of
I
them.
was about to say, Greg, I'm not making this up. You're going to think I'm lying. He's trying very hard to be the Jimmy Buffett slash Van Morrison of the Bay Area. I don't know why he was considered a heavy metal artist because if you listen to that, it the guitars are really muted, the production is flat, and I guess somewhere along the line they told him, "Well, you're a heavy metal artist," so he started doing albums like Red, Standing Hampton. But I don't disagree with you. I don't think if he had not joined Van Halen, I don't think Hagar would even be in the conversation for heavy metal hard rock history. I'm not disagreeing with you. But what I will disagree with, I think his vocals are great on here. Lyrically, it's not that great, but then, people probably thought he writes just like, David Lee Roth, and he writes love songs with if they didn't really look at it. It's hard to compare. And who's next?
I think everybody went on this one, right?
Yep.
Everybody went.
Yeah, we're
I
up
think
to
so.
OU812
Oh, you ate
now,
one
which
too.
we honestly should have picked the better album, Gangrene's I Ate One Before You. Has anybody ever
Is
listened
that
to
the
that
punk
besides
band,
me?
Greg?
Yes.
No, but I've
yes.
heard of that album title.
No, I like no Gangrene, the punk band, right?
Yeah, they did
Were
not
they a punk?
take well to the change in Van Halen, and
Isn't the
after
cover of that album like something parachuting into
you know
what is it? What the hell is it again?
oh, I have to look at it. It's been a long time.
Because it's the cover of VOA is Sammy parachuting. Was it
Yeah.
onto the White House or something? But
Yeah, it was.
I think they parody that somehow. Oh, that album title is funny as shit.
No, I one before you has a animation of the band cracking open a giant can of beer.
There's some album cover that parodies that Sammy parachuting into something, man. I remember seeing that. And I don't remember who it is though, but anyway, continue.
You know that's that. You know what I didn't think about that you just brought up, that Sammy Hagar album. What was the biggest album of that year, or prior to that? Besides Michael Jackson, who was the other big artist?
Prince?
What year?
Well, no, Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
Born
what-
in the USA would have been the second.
So what's he trying to do? Ride on the coattails of VOA?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It was supposed to be called Voice of America.
No,
then,
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then a matter of fact, Bruce Springsteen guitar player, Little Stevie or whatever his name is, put an album called Voice
Steve
of America. And that's
Jones.
why that's why it's called VOA. So I'm saying that Hagar was trying to ride the coattails, not only the heavy metal upsurge that was happening at that time, but also Bruce Springsteen.
Oh,
Which is ridiculous. There's only one Bruce Springsteen, so that's silly.
Well, and the thing about that too is, and you know, I wasn't gonna get too deep into it because I don't care that much about a solo career, but yeah, you know, he started riding the fringe of the movements because I've gone back and read articles from back in the day, and he was always referred to as blues rock up until about 80, 81. And then he did Standing Hampton, which first singles came out 81, including what he had on the heavy metal soundtrack. The album came out in 82. And that's really where he changes. And then you have Standing Hampton,
Three Lock Box,
yeah, and VOA, which are more in the hard
the
rock.
when he got
vein.
when he got signed to Geffen Records, that's when that change came.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and I read his book, and I found it interesting. Like he said that his managers didn't want him to play heavy metal. And I thought, you know, the definition of what that music has morphed so much even since then. But like we've talked about it, AC/DC, Alice Cooper. There, I got to mention them. Kiss, you know, they wouldn't be considered heavy metal today. But
you know,
but Hagar doesn't sound that metallic even by their standards.
No, and well, there's all kinds of stuff, you know, where there's been one or two articles about someone back in the day that I'm glad it's been retconned because it never fit. Aerosmith was never fucking heavy metal, even by 70s standards.
Somebody can just bring in.
I hate when people bring that up still to this day. It's like, you know, okay, there was one article in Kerrang in 1978. You know, it, not really relevant, I would say.
Is there another album we still got to discuss?
Yeah.
Like,
So on pause from the Manny
Oh,
King
yes.
show.
So now we get.
why don't you guys write a fucking book or something?
When not
Jesus Christ.
only
Since we're talking about nothing that relates to Van Halen at the moment, the new Halloween album is out tomorrow.
Halloween?
Halloween. Did I say Halloween?
You said
yes,
Halloween,
you did.
dude.
You
I
said
don't know.
Well, the
Halloween.
Halloween
tired.
stuff is already coming out too.
It really is. So, but
Spirit
Friday.
Halloween just opened up by me.
Yep. New album comes out.
It's a
on
good album.
Friday.
They should sell.
That's all right.
They should sell Halloween albums at Spirit of Halloween. That'd
They
be cool,
should.
man.
It really should.
I think Sammy Hagar should do an album of Halloween covers.
Oh, for God's
No,
sakes,
we don't
moving
want
right
that.
along.
We don't want that.
All right,
Let's go,
cyanide
Greg. Get us
going.
moving on to the other one here.
All right, so we move on to the
It's gonna go
second
quick.
album of
Like
the
right
Hagar era, and the album where you put the needle down and hear all of the soul and warmth evaporate right out of Van Halen. Instead of rocking, this is plotting. You know, one thing I noticed about this too, re-listening to it, man, they really seem to mute Michael Anthony and Alex a little bit. They're really low in the mix on this. Makes me wonder if Don Landy truly understood what the fuck he was doing. But this album is like the perfect definition of cynical corporate rock. I mean, 5150 was definitely a little bit more corporate, but it's still remembered to rock. This is as bad as a Sammy solo album, really. Although one thing I do find interesting, and let me because it's kind of funny, because I really don't think anything on here is super memorable at all, really, or uh even all that rocking. Like I said, now I gotta go back to the friggin' page because I changed it to look up that gangrene. But so, this kind of follows a theme with how it sounds, where nothing really stands out. It just kind of goes along, plods along. You'll hear a couple cool guitar parts, but nothing really says a whole much. And then you get to Finish What You Started on side two. And it's like someone lifted an Aerosmith song off a Permanent Vacation. It just sounds nothing like the rest of what's on the album. I kind of like that tune a little bit, but any of you guys feel that way? Like it was just totally out of left field?
Yeah, that song was definitely different, man.
Yeah,
and Greg,
just
Which song?
Finish what you started. It seems like it almost doesn't even fit the rest of the album. It was just kind of inserted in there
yeah.
as kind of a.
Yeah, even the way they play, I mean, really, it reminded me of late 80s Aerosmith. Even the way Eddie's playing the guitar, it sounds like a riff on what Perry was doing.
Greg, there's a song by John Cougar Mellencamp called Martha Said. Listen to the intro to that and then listen to
Finish what you
uh,
started.
yeah, I'm telling you, it's the same, almost the same thing in the beginning. I'm not making that up. All right.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I'll link it later on you can make your own decision. All right, I'm gonna mute while you continue.
Cabo Wabo is the worst, longest song that goes on forever without anything happening this side of And Justice for All.
Cabo. Oh,
Dude, 7 minutes. Here's what frustrates me most about this, and why I call it plotting instead of rocking. Eddie comes up with some cool, complex guitar stuff on here, and I mean, Source of Infection probably throws out some of the most beautiful arpeggios he's ever come up with, honestly. But the rest of the songs they aren't there, even in that tune, whether it's the lyrics or the rhythm or how Sammy's singing them. It's just generic is the best word I can really come up for it. This is like whitewashed rock for your grocery store moms, and it's very disappointing to know that Eddie is on anything like this. They're just, I mean, lack of imagination is another best way I can describe it. And the downside to that is he's got some really cool riffs and neat little guitar tricks he does on here, but it's just lost in the banalities of corporate rock. I mean, it was literally like, I know people say, oh, when Dave left, the heart and soul went with him. Okay, that is true to an extent, but not 100% true, because Eddie was still putting a lot of soul and warmth in a 5150, but it's like it evaporated here. This album literally becomes the Sammy Hagar show. It amazes me. It sounds like it could be VOA. I mean, literally, this is nothing about this even says Eddie Van Halen to me. It's one of the most disappointing experiences I've ever had. And he doesn't even seem like he was happy, because he reuses a bunch of riffs from earlier albums on here, whether it's Fair Warning or Van Halen 1. Quite honestly, I know VH3 with Gary Sharon gets a lot of hate, and it is a crappy album. It's an unfinished solo album, whatever you want to call it. I think this is the worst thing they ever put out. It's just, it's boring. It's awful, and it feels like I got shot in my soul knowing that it's Eddie, Alex, and Michael Anthony on here, and the fact that they turned out something of this caliber. I try to find the good in everything with bands I love. You know, like hell, I even love Club Ninja by Blue Oyster Cult, like I've mentioned several times. But there's nothing redeemable about this except maybe oh, what's that damn song I've had stuck in my head for 2 days now? God damn it.
By who?
Van Halen. I
Oh.
thought, oh, When It's Love.
I was gonna
Okay.
say when it's
That one has a real catchy melody, but even that, it doesn't sound interesting. It sounds like a leftover that wasn't good enough to make 5150. So they just reused it here, and it doesn't really fit the theme of the rest of the album at all. It's weird the way it pops up in the track listing, although it's catchy. But I don't know if any of you have the CD, but they do a Little Feat cover of Apolitical Blues. And one of Eddie's favorite blues guitarists is Albert Collins, who was also one of mine. And Eddie's brown sound was definitely different and unique. But he always had a slight metallic edge to his playing. I think he picked up from Collins. And on that tune, man, he really plays like Albert, and it's awesome. But the rest of this, I don't even think I'd let the dog bury in the yard because it might infect his paws with mediocrity.
All right.
So this one, I would have say avoid at all costs. Honestly, I mean, if you want to hear, pick up When It's Love on a single.
Yeah, pretty much. I like Mine All Mine. It's okay. It's a decent opener. When It's Love, I like, and Finish What You Started. The other rest of it is garbage. And we were talking about, like you just mentioned before, like it seems like Eddie's like rehashing some of his old guitar riffs and stuff, and that's kind of how I feel when I listen to this album. I'm almost like I wish they kind of would have just ended after Roth left, or even after 5150, because it just there's nothing here that I want to like keep going back and listening to like I did with the other albums. You know, just I just don't see why. How could they come up with like this album after coming up with such good ones? You know, it's like, I mean, you know, the steam's running out by now, but and like you said too, it's the same. It's the Sammy show.
And it is. It feels like he took over the band here, and that's the funny thing too, you know, because I love Eddie, I love Dave, but I'm somewhere in between because I love Eddie, even though I dislike this guy as a person. I'm not going to shit all over it, like I said, but it totally feels like they lost their way. It's just weird because I wouldn't say 5150 was peak Van Halen, but they were certainly in their playing prime still. And it's like someone sucked the life out of them here.
Yeah, everything's just too all over the place. You know, they're just trying to do so many different things and making something work and just to make an album. But
you know what? That's a good point. That's another thing I thought about it too. While outside of reusing the riffs, a lot of what he does with the guitar sounds well, it not just sounds, it is a little bit more complex, but there's no cohesiveness between the rest of the band and Eddie. It's almost like he's playing on another record. It's weird.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because with even with Alex's drums, some of them really, it's like, how the hell did he even figure out to do that drum pattern? And Eddie's doing something like it doesn't even like work really. I mean, it works in the song, but it just like, how did he even get to do like in Mine All Mine? He's like doing double bass, and it's really not like a double bass worthy song. It's just it's weird.
Well, that's naturally wired. Eddie sounds like he's playing a completely different song from the rest of the band. It's weird.
Yeah. So it's just a strange album, you know. Lou.
When I was younger, I definitely had a love for this album. Not gonna lie. I remember seeing the
man,
the video
that's lamer than FDR's legs.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm trying to be objective as possible here, okay? I mean,
hey, let the man be honest.
If I'm gonna shit on something from one of my favorite bands of all time because of what one replacement member did, then at least let me be honest. So when I was younger, you know, and I saw the video for When It's Love, I have to admit I did like the song. I was 8. when I heard it. Um, when I got a little older, my brother gave a bunch of his cassettes away because he sold most of them and got a CD player and started buying CDs. Um, OU812 was one of his cassettes that he had left over that I took. So I remember listening to it on my Walkman. And even as a kid, I was like, you know what? The the audio on the video sounded better because I was listening to it on my Walkman and I'm like, wow, this is faint. This is really low. I wasn't a fan of the production then. And even listening to it now on streaming, I can't stand listening to it. It makes it so difficult because it's like there's just such an imbalance to it. But if I were to go through the songs, I love the song Mine All Mine. I can even say I don't mind the way Sammy sings on it. I like the keyboard riff and I like Eddie's solo. But again, somebody mentioned before, I think it was you, Wayne. You said that Eddie was kind of reconstituting ideas that he already done. And yes, there is a point in the Mine All Mine solo where he does this thing where he plays one shape on one string and then goes to the lower octave and does the same thing. He did that same thing on Top Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
So you were right about that. You nailed it on the money. But I still like the song. When It's Love, I definitely like it better than Why Can't This Be Love? And I like it just a tad better than Love Walks In. AFU Naturally Wired, I love the song because of what Eddie does, and I love Alex's drumming on it. Cabo Wabo, the only Cabo Wabo I like is the tequila. Not a fan of the song. And I don't even like tequila. Source of Infection. Probably the closest the Sammy Hagar era Van Halen ever got to replicating Hot for Teacher. But the lyrics are dumb as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. But I dig the music, and I don't even mind the chorus. Feels so good. Sorry, just heard my daughter screaming at the other room. I don't think she's a fan either. Uh, feels so good. It's cheese ball. It's safe. It's just safe. That's the only word I can think about it.
Soccer mom, grocery store rock.
You know what I love?
Wait, what was the example I made to you the other night, Lou? Oh, OU812 is like when Michael Jackson took Brooke Shields to the Grammys because she was the whitest woman in America, but nobody cared because it was Michael Jackson. They knew wasn't a damn thing going to happen.
Exactly.
And this album plays it just as safe.
And
Lou,
after it feels so good for me, the rest of the album I could really care less about. So if I were to say which songs from these would I add to my best of Van Halen Sammy Hagar collection, I would say Mine All Mine, AFU, and I would say Source of Infection, but again, what he does during the chorus, the verses, if you could even call them that, is really stupid. So I'll just say When It's Love, just to throw on a ballad on there. I'll say that.
You know what my favorite part of your review is, Lou? You're trying so hard to be objective, and you're trying so hard to find some sort of
You could see the pain in his face.
Yeah.
He's got the blood running from his ears. So.
Yeah, I mean,
this is real hemoglobin, people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go after Stan, but I really love how you're trying really hard to. I get it because I'm a huge fan of Van Halen. You with Sammy Hagar, so I get your pain, and we'll get to my pain after Stan. But I get it. I get it.
Just to give a shout out.
I just didn't want to bash it just to bash it. It's like if I find something in there that's of value or quality, I will praise it. But I'm just not a Sammy guy. I just not. Now leave it at that.
It's the shout out to
And
some of the
honest-
people on the chat.
Go ahead.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up and let me goddamn talk. It's my goddamn show.
Not anymore. Go
trying
ahead.
to shout out the people
We
in the
started
chat.
it together, fucky.
Oh, you're fired from the Dudgeon TV. Thanks for watching. He wants Wadzilla. He wants to know where Wadzilla is, but he doesn't do the show. And if he did the show, we'd probably get kicked off of YouTube. So he's not here. And then Mark of the Dragon says hello. He says, howdy and good evening, folks. Appreciating the Iron Maiden shirt and poster. Shout out to Louie. Louie,
Hey, Mark.
Oh no, take me to where you gotta go. Yeah.
Nice.
Moving around.
It's also Louis. But
I know. I wanted.
That's my buddy Mark Aeda. Love you, buddy.
No, all I wanted to say was I'm not bashing this just to bash it. I just objectively think this is that bad of a record.
It is. It's not a good record. It really isn't.
I mean, I just don't understand how they went a step down in production from 5150 to this.
I don't think there's a step down in production.
I think Sammy had more pull, and not only with the songwriting but with the production. He wanted it to sound more like his stuff had in the past. All of this,
I get that, but you know, if they had pursued what they accomplished with 5150, especially on the Japanese cut, I don't think you would have seen a decline in terms of their platinum sales. Yes, all their albums did go multi-platinum. This went 6 or 7 times. OU812 went, I think, 4 times. And then For Love of Common Knowledge went 4 times. OU812 went 5 times. And then Balance went 3 times. So you see that there is declining
music for sheeple.
Well, regardless. And I think the production on OU812 had a lot to do with it. It could have been a lot better.
Stan, are you here, Stan?
Yeah. So it could be just me, but I feel like the guitar there's not much presence of the guitar here. It seems like more like keyboards. And you know, like Mine Oh Mine, I really like that song, but you know what it could have made it better? There was some fucking guitar in it.
Yeah.
Something that just kind of like drove the song that reminded people that Van Halen is a rock band, you know. But the melodies are cool, you know. So I like the song. I just wanted some more fucking guitar in it. When It's Love, why do you need a fucking intro for a minute and a half? This is the other problem. Like this is a good song, but the intro is way too long. They could have just cut that whole shit out.
True.
Some of these songs like Plot On or should just be trimmed a little bit, because like there's just like nothing going on. Like it's just a repeating shit, or just like it sounds like they're just jamming or something. I don't know, like Cabo Wabo. It's a boring ass song because it's just too fucking long. Trim that shit. But Mine Oh Mine, When It's Love. I like Finish What You Started because it sounds kind of different. It's pretty cool. But that's about it for me. Like, you know, everything else is just forgetful and boring. And I don't know. It's missing something. Maybe I don't know, guitar. It's missing the guitar. It just doesn't.
I remember when that video came on MTV, they finished What You Started.
Yeah.
Video. I turned it off immediately. I hated that song.
Okay.
Now
well, I kind of like it, but that's it.
Now I do. I like it now.
3 songs and that you know that's all I like. I mean, like everything else is just kind of boring, and it feels like you know, it's kind of like what the guy said earlier. Like it just feels like a Hagar album rather than a Van Halen album. It just feels like Eddie is just like a guest artist on his own album.
Yep, pretty much.
That's it.
iPhone.
Oh,
you're done. Just hit
iPhone.
Just shut up.
Yeah, we'll discuss later. Bye.
I'll let Al go first, and I'll go last.
You said you were going after Stan.
Well, let Al go, Ian.
All
I'll
right.
go after Lau.
All right, mute yourself.
I gotta go, man.
Al.
My computer batteries are dying.
All
I'm
right.
gonna use
Al's
Manny's.
dying.
I'm just, I'm just kidding, man. It's one of Manny's fucking excuses, man.
Or
I
he's
gotta
gotta
go.
pick
My
up his
phone's
kids.
dying.
My phone's
Chicks,
dying. I gotta go
man,
pick up my
chicks.
kids.
Um, I'll admit, dude, I liked the album when it came out, but by this time I was already into heavier music, so I'm kind of contradicting myself. I liked the album, but I was kind of let down at the same time. Again, yeah, Eddie's guitar it didn't have that much bite to it. Like I was like, when I first heard Mine on Mine, the first song, I'm like, why is the guitar so low in the fucking mix, man? It's just the keyboards are just kind of dominating that throughout that song. But I do like that song though. It's one of the very, very rare instances that Sammy kind of puts some sort of effort into a lyric. So lyrically, it's all right. You know what I mean? As for Sammy Hagar standards, it's actually like kind of covers some serious topics in there, evangelistic shit and all that kind of crap that was going on at the time. Anyway, so I like that song. When It's Love, another typical ballad. It was all right. I remember being over my friend Rob's house, man, and we met in middle school, and we were like, he was a huge Van Halen fan as well, and you know was probably like me. Well, he started playing guitar before I did. He kind of actually taught me my first few chords, got me into playing guitar. So I credit him with kind of getting me a little started on the instrument. And I remember, he was a huge Eddie fan. But I remember one time being at his house and the When It's Love video came um, on MTV, and we were just kind of like just sitting there, and then he just said this thing that kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, and it was just like all he said was his comment was just like, "Dude, what happened to this band?" And then I was just like, I had to agree with him, dude. It was just like I mean, if you put on Fair Warning and then like put this on, it just what the hell happened, man? You know what I mean? So it's just so different, man. Just so
So This Is Love beats When It's Love harder than Rocky punched Apollo Creed.
Yeah, exactly, man. You know what I mean? So, um, AFU, I like that song. I like Eddie's guitar in that. I liked Alex, and it was one of the more rocking songs on the album. Cabo Wabo, I didn't mind because it was reminded me of Summer. I agree it's a bit long, but I don't know. I like the vocal harmonies in that, and I like the vibe of it. It gives off a. I always said Van Halen was the ultimate summer band. For me, it's their ultimate summer rock band, and this kind of has that vibe to it. It just has I can envision just like hanging out on the beach and hearing this in the background. So, um, Source of Infection, great musically, lyrically, horrible. That's been said already, but yeah, they like I think Greg was the one that said that. Who was the one that said that they were going for the? It was the closest that Van Halen came to Hot for Teacher. Was it you, Greg? That said that?
Oh,
Oh,
that was Lou. I just
Okay.
talked about how
It had to,
I said I think there's some of his best guitar arpeggios he ever did. It's just
yeah,
unfortunate I don't like the song.
yeah. Feel So Good, I think is the worst song on the album. I remember seeing a video for that and the organ and all that shit. I was like, that was my moment where I said, what the fuck happened to this band? To be completely honest with you, man. Finish What You Started. It's a cool I like again, like Greg said, like it just completely it's it's like they threw this song in the middle of the album and just completely different than the rest of the album. It's a little more organic, which is probably why I like it. A bit more organic sounding. The production is probably the best this album is sounding on. This song sounds on the album because the production on the album is very. I mean, if you're gonna do some of this album, it would need a complete remix. You know what I mean? So, um, Wayne's laughing. I don't know what he's laughing at. Maybe comments or something. But um, Black and Blue. Actually, I love that song. That's my favorite song on the album. I know the lyrics are kind of dumb, but I love what Eddie does on that. Man, I love the solo on it and everything. I love the vibe of the song. So that's one of my favorites on the album. Actually, I know some of you guys didn't even bring that up, but Sucker in
I
a Three
can't
Piece.
remember a single thing about it, unfortunately.
Uh, well, I'm not asking you to listen to it either. Because I doubt it will change your mind. But
No, I'm just saying I didn't bring it up because I see the title and I'm like, I don't even remember this tune.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love Black and Blue. That's probably, like I said, it's probably my favorite on the album. Sucker in a Three Piece, just dumb lyrically. Yeah, Political Blues. Yeah, I got the CD. I remember hearing that cover. It's a Little Feat cover, I believe, right? And
Yep, Little Feat. He
it
just
was a
really takes the opportunity to do some Albert Collins type shit on there, and I thought that was really cool.
that was he was the guitar player in Little Feat.
No, Albert Collins is a blues.
He's a blues
Was a
guy.
blues
Yeah,
player.
No,
Yeah, Eddie
that
just
was
really liked him. Yeah.
the guitar player to the Little Feat's the guy
Lowell,
named.
Lowell George, right?
Yeah, he passed away, but he started his career with Frank Zappa.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow. Wow.
Yep. He was part of the incarnation with the Mothers that had Flo and Eddie
Oh, okay. The Flo and Eddie era.
and Jim Pons from the Turtles. Yeah.
Gotcha. I went to see the Monster Rock tour, the thing, and for me, Metallica wiped the floor with everybody on that bill.
When I heard
They
they
just
wiped the floor with everyone.
Yeah, they wiped the floor with everybody. But it was still cool. It was an event, back when big concerts were an events. It was a big event. But Metallica was the band that they were the buzz band of that whole concert. So
So weird
um,
that Dawkins went on after them.
yeah, and I think Jeff Pilson or something said that was kind of a mistake.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to
um,
have the Scorpions headline over them made sense
yeah,
because they've been around longer.
Oh, that's right. You guys are talking about the one in the U.S. because Maiden headlined Donington.
yeah.
They did it.
Yeah,
over
the
there.
U.S. Monster Rock in '88
Yeah.
was the Van
With
Halen.
Kingdom Come as the opening act.
Yeah, Kingdom Come. And I'll admit, I actually liked the Kingdom Come for it. My brother had gotten the album, and I liked, so I guess because I was such a Zeppelin fan.
Yeah, that's okay that you like Lenny Zeppelin. It's fine.
Lenny
Yeah,
Zeppelin.
I actually liked it too. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I saw that Monster Rock.
We got
tour,
there
too.
early enough. I remember me and my brother, we got there early enough to see them too. We got there right in the beginning, and we're there. I remember it was hot that day, though, man. I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's
anybody.
cool. Manny, what do you think about the album?
Stan wants to go to bed. That's fine.
Anyway, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I went to Monsters of Rock. It was cool. All right. I hate the production on the album. Let's just start with that. It's so dry, and maybe that's my problem with it. It's so. I don't think the songs are that great, but they were really aiming for rock radio. But I don't like the production. Mine Oh Mine is a good song, in my opinion. And so when it's love, even though I'm sick of it. But then you get to AFU, Naturally Wired. I
What
the
does
thing is,
AFU
when you
stand
come-
for anyway?
All fired up.
Oh,
Well, yeah, because
like Tom.
anyway.
Waits.
Oh God, it's just like Lou. I'm struggling here because I like Van Halen, and I don't want to say anything bad, but if Van Halen 3 didn't exist, this would be at the bottom of the pile. And actually, I might put Van Halen 3 above this because Van Halen 3 at least has an artistic integrity where they're trying to push themselves. Where this is Kaba Waba. I like long songs, but this one is 7 minutes for no reason whatsoever. It just plods, goes along, and he's thinking about some bar or some tequila or some bullshit. That's crap. Sorts
That
of
time he
infection.
got the clap in Mexico from that midget hooker. Yeah. Doesn't just need a 7-minute song.
See, that
Do not
actually-
sully the name of Bridget the Midget, okay? She's awesome.
Actually, I met Bridget the Midget, actually. I told
That doesn't
Al
surprise me whatsoever.
Al,
Go
Al,
ahead.
I told
have
Al
as
that
well.
story. Kava, Wava, or whatever. It's 7 minutes of just,
Tripe.
And the thing is, the song became not only a concert staple for that version of Van Halen, but fans actually love that song. I don't get it. I'm a Van Halen fan. And you guys have been on the show long enough to know I'm a pretty forgiving fan of bands that put out albums that nobody likes, but I'll enjoy. You guys know this because you've been on the show forever. And I'm having a hard time defending this one. Source of infection. Fucking horrible. Horrible. It feels so good. You know,
But it sounds so bad.
it feels so good. It is so. Look, I like pop music, not a lot, but I do like some pop music. This is fine, but this is kind of annoying, you know? Feels good, so whatever. Fuck you. All right, that's crap. Finish what you started. I love that song when John Cougar Mellencamp wrote it. And let's see, Black and Blue. I have to agree with Al. I do like that song, but maybe I like it so much because if you compare it to the rest of the album, it's the heaviest track on there. It's got a good guitar solo. Musically, I can see where Greg's coming from because it's the only time where Van Halen kind of do that basic British blues type riff, you know, except it sounds like Van Halen. It's not really bluesy, but, you know, it's really repetitive, but not in an interesting way. But it's the best song on here. Sucker and the Three Piece. First of all, the fact that this is almost 6 minutes long. 6 minutes long. For fuck's sake. Sucker and a Three Piece. The title alone should have been enough for Eddie goes, look, I don't really look at the lyrics, but this is ridiculous. It's just, oh my God, it is horrible. Not only that, the production is so dry. I don't know who said it, but the mix where it just sounds like the guys are, you can't really hear Michael Anthony that well on it. His background vocals are really prominent on Maybe When It's Love and Finish What You Started.
About it.
They don't really utilize them. It makes no sense. And Sucker in a Three Piece is terrible. Apolitical Blues, the only reason I'm not a Little Feat fan, and I'm not a fan of that song, but the reason I kind of like that tune is for what the exact same reason Greg said, because it's in a different style. He's doing what they used to call chicken picking on a couple of things on there.
Listen to a couple of tunes from Ice Pickin' by Albert Collins.
I have that album, and I know what you're talking about. It's got that feel, which is what I have a feeling he was really going for. Overall, it's a very disappointing album. It's not just the songs, but the production is just flat. And what's even more, and when you hear these songs live, they're really better. Even Sucker and the Three Piece, at least you can tolerate it live. Because they did it to show up that, and they had a guy come out with a suit, and they tore up his suit.
Hey, man, you can put a turd in a three-piece suit, but it's still a turd.
It's true.
You know,
but
Manny brings up a good point, though, because I think the reason why I liked Mine on Mine so much is because of the there was a 1995 radio concert from Toronto that Van Halen did, and the song they did from OU812 was Mine on Mine, and live it just sounded more thunderous.
Absolutely, and because of the nature of that song, they didn't do it at Monsters of Rock. If they did, I don't remember, honestly. I mean,
no, they didn't play it on that tour
years ago, but
they played it on the Japanese one. They played it on the Japanese leg of the OU812 tour.
Oh, okay. And I wonder if they ever played it again, because I've heard bootlegs. And when you hear what's really cool about that, the live version, is they utilize Michael Anthony. You know? So
yeah.
One thing I did want to bring up overall here, Michael Anthony wasn't the only one doing the background vocals. Eddie and Alex did it too. It's all three of them
absolutely
together.
they did.
Alex on the in the studio.
Yeah, that's all three of them together doing the background vocals. But I'm talking about on the albums, not that I don't think it's fucked up what they did to Michael Anthony, but it's not like it was all him with that. Each member was just as important to the others, to the original Van Halen.
I said that the background. I've said that on a previous show that the background vocal sound was Eddie and Michael. the blend of their two voices.
Okay, well, I missed the first two,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
No, he
you gotta
said
bear
Al.
with me a little bit.
Al did say that. Yeah, that's true. But live, I still think Michael Anthony was a huge part of their sound. I'm going to stay with that.
I think that to me that's just what made the original lineup work. You had a little James Brown with a little Beach Boys with a little Black Sabbath thrown in there for good measure, and that's why with the original four it worked.
Yep.
Here, and Sammy admitted this in an interview. He said when he joined the band, he took it over. In terms of the lyrics and like getting Eddie to complete songs. He even, to quote him, he said, "It became my band."
I call
Thankfully,
bullshit on.
thankfully,
I call bullshit on that. But
thankfully, on these two albums, we do hear some solid stuff from Eddie, but and Stan, I know I bust your chops about being a fan of this era, dude. We're boys. You can like whatever the hell you like. I mean, I just do it for humorous purposes, but I guess it's just my own personal taste. I don't get what you get out of it, and that's cool. I respect the fact that you like it and appreciate it as much as you do.
well, I'm gonna.
I was waiting for Stan to reply to my statement.
Buy the new Severed Angel album. Get it at Bandcamp or I don't even know. I don't even know how to plug in your own album.
Rocksrecords.com.
Oh my god, that's a frightening photo of Manny.
It is. What happened, Manny?
No,
Manny, you were
I
saying?
can't see it, so I don't know what. No, I'm going to say that I do like this version of Van Halen. I just don't particularly like this album. That's all.
Yeah, I think we could all probably agree this may be the weakest of the four.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It gets a little better from here.
The best Hagar stuff is Chicken Foot.
I would definitely say this is the weakest of the four, although to be honest, the next one's almost even with this, but we'll get to that next week.
Well, that one I will defend, Greg, but we'll wait till we get to it.
Of course you will, because it's mostly fan service, but yeah.
Well, I can't wait to talk about the production on that one.
Yeah, me neither.
It's basically a giant Pepsi commercial, but I gotta run.
Later, Craig.
Later.
Crystal Pepsi later.
Goodbye, everybody. Tune in next week.
Crystal Pepsi ruled. They need to bring it back again.
And if anyone's going to
taking away
Metallica
everything
in the
away.
Hamptons tomorrow, I'll see you there.
Also,
we're done here.
Crystal
don't
Myth.
fuck Metallica,
Yeah.
but go to Megadeth's farewell tour.
No, can't stand Dave's voice. This Dave's voice I can't stand.
All right, shut the fuck
Whatever.
up.
Peace.